This essay is it's about Bobby Kennedy and some of his various incarnations and people who I know. Chris Matthews, who has a program in the evening on MSNBC called Hardball, wrote a novel or book about Bobby Kennedy. And since Bobby Kennedy is the most important mentor in my entire life, I had to get a copy of it. But my tour guide, when I was first in Myanmar, near Inle Lake, was a woman by the name of Moh Moh. And Moh Moh and I have emailed each other many, many times in the last 4 years. And I've mentioned to her, and I've written articles about this, that Moh Moh reminds me so much of Bobby Kennedy in her personality and the way she conducts her life and the interests that she has in helping people. And so I got a copy for myself and a copy for her, wrapped up her book and kept my book out so that I could read it while I'm flying from Chicago to Hong Kong and Hong Kong to Yangon, which takes about 20 hours. Get to Yangon and met my tour guide for my experiences in Yangon, and I told him, I said, I've been to a lot of places in Yangon. I really don't want to go back. I'd rather see places I haven't been yet. And sometime that afternoon we went to what was essentially the British office that controlled the colony of Burma back when the British had, when Burma was a colony of the British Empire. It also happened to be a place where General Aung San and 6 of his cabinet members were assassinated soon after they got independence from the British in the late 40s. And I don't know whether it was before or after, or before we went to the memorial to General Aung San, or it was sometime in that afternoon, that my tour guide said that his boss wants to meet me. And I thought that it was Patrick Morris's friend. He has a friend that the two of them must exchange books back and forth that they read and they like. And so Patrick asked me if I would mind taking to this guy, half a dozen books. They were all wrapped up. And I put them in my suitcase, when I got to Yangon, gave them to my tour guide, and he took them to his office and gave it to this guy. So I figured that was going to be the person that was going to have a snack with us and coffee. We went to this place and just had gotten there and sat down for 2 minutes, ordered something, and we're having our coffee or tea, and in walks a woman. And her nickname is Tintin. And I had no idea what my face looked like because I was expecting some guy, and here comes this woman. And she must have read, I don't know who you are, on my face. And she said, and it was in this crowded restaurant. And so my hearing problem, because of hitting my head on against the stone wall, hearing aids have a great ability to amplify the voice, but it amplifies everything else, what I call background noise. And I couldn't understand. I mean, she was trying to explain who she was, and the 2 names that she mentioned, all of a sudden it dawned on me. She mentioned Coco and Moh Moh, who were my guides the first time and the second time when I'm in Inle Lake. And so once I knew my relationship with her and with Patrick Morris and my friends Inlet Lake, we sat there and talked about, I mean, she wanted to know what was going on in my head. Why was I so driven? Why was I trying to do this? What did it make a difference, you know? And we talked for, I don't know, half an hour, and we couldn't have been 10 or 12 inches apart from each other. And she and I were sitting there looking at each other like this, and I kept on getting these questions like, and why is that important? Why is that important? And in the middle of this, I mean, certainly was not planned, I said, you remind me so much of Moh Moh. And we talked more about Moh Moh and Aung San Suu Kyi and what's happening in Myanmar. And she said, I have a lot of things to do, and she took off, and we had things to do, and we took off. And I sat back in the back seat of the car that my tour guide and the driver were talking or where they're going next. And then it hit me. Tintin is so much like Moh Moh, but Tintin and Moh Moh are so much like Bobby Kennedy, and also me. And so I met Tintin again when I got back to Yangon, and we had a nice talk at the hotel that I was staying at. And I talked to her about Bobby Kennedy, and as soon as I got home, the first thing I did was to order another copy of Chris Matthews' Bobby Kennedy. And that is on its way to Yangon as I'm recording this video. Hopefully by the time that this video is viewed by the rest of the world, Tintin will have received her copy of Bobby Kennedy. Moh Moh, Tintin, myself, and millions of other people have learned a great deal about how to live life from Bobby Kennedy. I appreciate your time watching and listening to this video and reading this essay. Take care.